In the far north of Europe lies a land shaped by ice, silence, and resilience. A land whose people carved their identity between East and West, empire and freedom. This is Finland. Long before Finland was called Finland, it was simply forest and water, endless pine-covered wilderness dotted with icy lakes and rugged coastline. The first people arrived over 10,000 years ago, following the last ice age. These early settlers hunted elk, fished the rivers, and painted red ochre figures on rocky cliffs. Silent echoes of a time when survival meant harmony with nature. They spoke Finnic languages, ancestors of the modern Finnish tongue, a language unlike any other in Europe, more at home with Estonian and distant Hungarian than with Swedish or Russian. For centuries, the tribes lived scattered and independent. No kings, no armies, just villages, myths, and the harsh but beautiful rhythm of the north. Sweden's shadow. In the 12th century, the tides of power began to reach Finland's shores. Sweden, a growing kingdom, launched a series of crusades to Christianize the region. But these were not just spiritual missions. They were political conquests. By the mid-1200s, Finland was absorbed into the Swedish realm, and so began 600 years of Swedish rule. Finland was governed from Stockholm. Swedish became the language of law and power. Finnish peasants farmed and paid taxes, their fate tied to wars they didn't choose. Yet even under foreign rule, the Finnish identity endured, preserved in forests, folklore, and song. In 1550, a new city was founded, Helsingfors, later to become Helsinki. But for now, it was just a trading post in a cold, far-flung province. Between two empires. Then came the storm. In the early 19th century, Europe trembled under the march of Napoleon. Sweden, weakened and distracted, lost Finland to Russia in 1809. But Russia did something unexpected. It didn't crush Finland. It elevated it. Tsar Alexander I created the Grand Duchy of Finland, an autonomous part of the Russian Empire. Finland could keep its own laws, its currency, even its Lutheran religion. For the first time, it had a capital of its own, Helsinki. And for the first time, the idea of a Finnish nation began to bloom. Finnish culture was celebrated. The great epic Kalevala was compiled from oral traditions, giving the people a national mythology to rival Greece or Rome. A language once confined to peasants began to rise. Movements formed, newspapers published in Finnish, and the question slowly took shape. If we are a people, why not a nation? Independence and civil war. Then in 1917, the Russian Empire collapsed under the weight of revolution. Finland saw its chance. On December 6, 1917, Finland declared independence. But freedom came at a price. In 1918, the country was torn apart by civil war. Reds versus whites, left-wing workers inspired by the Bolsheviks against conservative nationalists. Brother fought brother. Villages were burned. Thousands died. The whites, backed by Germany, won. Finland became a republic, but the scars ran deep. Out of that turmoil, a quiet strength emerged. Finland would now walk its own path, fiercely democratic, culturally distinct, and forever shaped by the blood that had soaked its soil. The Winter War peace did not last. In 1939, the Soviet Union invaded Finland, demanding territory to protect Leningrad. But Finland said no. So began the Winter War. The Soviets had tanks, planes, hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Finland had skis, rifles, and bitter cold. In one of the most heroic defenses in modern history, the vastly outnumbered Finns resisted for months. The world watched in awe as the David versus Goliath battle unfolded in snow-covered forests. Eventually, Finland was forced to cede some land, but it remained independent. When Nazi Germany later invaded the Soviet Union, Finland joined the fight, not to conquer, but to reclaim its lost land. This uneasy alliance stained Finland's image, but when Hitler's collapse became inevitable, Finland pivoted, expelling German troops from its soil. And by the end of World War II, Finland stood battered but still free. The Cold Peace. Finland now faced a delicate balancing act. It shared a long border with the Soviet Union. It had survived 2 wars with it. The Cold War had begun, and Finland was caught in the middle. So it developed a unique strategy: neutrality. No NATO, no Warsaw Pact. Finland traded with both East and West. It maintained democracy, press freedom, and capitalism, but avoided provoking Moscow. Critics called it Finlandization, bending without breaking. In truth, it was survival, and it worked. A northern nation rises. As the Cold War ended, Finland accelerated westward. In 1995, it joined the European Union. Its economy modernized. Its education system became world-class. Nokia phones, built in Finland, connected the planet. And through it all, the Finnish spirit endured, resilient, independent, and calm in the storm. In 2023, in response to Russia's war in Ukraine, Finland finally joined NATO, ending decades of military neutrality. A new chapter for a nation shaped by centuries of conflict. From Swedish rule to Russian empire, from civil war to modern peace, Finland has always stood as a quiet sentinel of the North, forged in snow, tested in fire, and destined to endure, fade to black with music swelling. This was Europe in Minutes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the heart of the continent.